Good afternoon, everyone. So my nephew got married in Chandigarh last week. So I called him. I said, congratulations, how are you doing? And he was not very happy. I said, abhi abhi shaadi hui hai, like what? She's not good or what? He says, no, we spent 3-4 lakh on the wedding, but 25-30 lakh ikatta ho gaya. My friends that are kind of poor, I was not expecting money from them, but I got 2,000, 3,000, 10,000, 20,000. So I said, enjoy life. He says, no, अब उनकी शादी होगी तो असली पैसे देने पड़ेंगे. So, World Hindu Economic Forum, somebody called me and said, hey, registration increase karni hai. I said, it's very easy. Just charge in rupees, 500, 1,000, you'll get a lot of registration. Every single Indian in United States has some money socked away, as if they're poor. And when they go to India, they won't have any money. Under pillows, in blankets, drawers, every Indian in United States is hanging on to money, Indian rupees. Ravi, how much do you have at home? And like an idiot, I was in India a month ago and went to Taj, and I'd opened my wallet and I had $1,000. I said, give me rupees, I keep traveling, I'll just save them. So now I have a lot of rupees. And I threw the receipt. Okay, so I guess this conference is in Irvine, California, United States. And it's kind of silly to talk to you guys about opportunities in North America. How many people from outside the US in the room? Oh, wow. Okay, so we did take some rupee registration. That's good. Okay, so I will then talk a little bit about United States. I thought there's a lot of smart people that live in US and work here, and the last thing they want to hear from me is a commercial on United States. But I will do the commercial on United States at a very rapid pace because I want to talk about something else. All right, so I have this. All right, so I'll talk about the US economy in general and everything you see on the screen. See if you can read fast when I change the screen so I can move on. All right, so the worldwide GDP today is about $80 trillion. And the US has about 20, 22, 23% of the worldwide GDP. There was a time 10, 15, 20 years ago, US had 30% of the world GDP. When US got independence in 1776, guess what the GDP was of United States as a percentage of the world GDP? Yes, you guessed it right, 0. Population of United States in 1776, 3 million. 3 million farmers and gangsters with guns to kick out the British out of the United States. And what was India's GDP in 1776, of the world share? 25%. What was India's GDP in the year 1500 of the world GDP? 25%. 1600, 27%. 1650, 30%. 1700, 28%. 1750, 25, 26%. Okay, so from 1750 with India's GDP being 25% of the world GDP, now you fast forward 241 years to 1991 and India's share of the world GDP is 2.4%. A drop of 90% in 241 years. And US goes from 0 to 30% between 1776 and 1991. All right, this is the US economy, 22% of the world GDP. The US is kind of funny. There's some very, very, very large corporations and millions of small businesses and some companies in between. Of the Fortune 500, US has 100 of them. And even though Donald Trump keeps talking about manufacturing going away and this and that, and US is still the world's second largest manufacturer because of the 20% of the world GDP, 80 trillion, 20% of that, $18 trillion. There's a lot of, even though the numbers are coming down from 50% of manufacturing GDP in 1950 to 12% today, but the numbers are so huge. Imagine a nail factory or a clothing factory in China, hundreds of people all day long making nails and hammers. You can go to any house in the United States and turn over anything in that house, and at the back of it, it says made in China. So imagine a factory in China making clothes for US people all month long, hundreds and thousands of people making clothes and shoes and nails and hammers. And at the end of the month, the bill from all these factories is $150 million. And at the end of the month, the United States, Boeing ships them one 747 and bills them $150 million. India, as you know, at least half of the 1.25 billion people, 600 some million people are involved in agriculture. And the US population involved in agriculture is 3%. 10 million people in the United States work in agriculture and produce 1.4 times of India's agriculture production, in which 700, 600 million people are involved. So all of us are searching for a purpose in life, and I have a purpose for all of us. So from 1750 to 1991, India went from 25% to 2.4% of the world GDP, and we can have another 3-day conference on why that happened. And all of you know why that happened. But all of us have a purpose in life. There's a reason why you're in the United States today and you're sitting in this room, and why 30 million Indians are outside of India. The India's diaspora of 30 million. There's a reason why they were sent out of India. All of us need to play a role to get back our share. Now, I don't want to be greedy. We Indians and Hindus and Sikhs and everybody else are nice people. We don't want more than our fair share. India is 17% of the world's population today. We want 17% of the world GDP. That's all. So it took 241 years to lose 90% of our wealth. The climb back up shouldn't take 241 years because of all of us in this room. The climb back up, we need to accelerate. Instead of 241 years to go back from 2.4%, and we're making great progress, by the way. Immense progress. I know we complain and complain and complain, but India is making tremendous progress. 200 million people since 1991 have been lifted out of absolute poverty in 25 years. That's how much progress we've made. But I think if all of us put our heads together and do this making society prosperous, we need to hasten this climb back up. That's all. And instead of 241 years, see if we can do it in 50 years, by 2040. That should be our goal. If WEF is looking for a mantra, that's our mantra. 17% of the world GDP by 2040, no matter what we have to do. This is United States today. And you know, in the United States complains about TCS and Infosys and Wipro and this and that. And look at this, #1 exporter of services. Do you know that no big transaction, no big monetary transaction happens anywhere in the world, between China and Argentina and between Brazil and Pakistan or whatever? Any big transaction happening anywhere in the world, US lawyers are involved? That's exporting services. And engineering, accounting, actuarial, insurance, when there's an accident anywhere in the world, guess who goes up to figure out what the insurance company should pay? US people. #1 exporter of services in the world. The 3 big industries driving United States right now, you see them. And if you're interested of what's the attractive businesses are in the US right now and in the near future, You have these drone manufacturing for obviously reasons, so we can kill some more people, which US is good at and should be. Somebody in the world needs to be a little strong, right? Virtual reality and AI and self-driving cars. Have you noticed that the Tatas have a consulting company, in an engineering company and a software company, and they also make cars? Who should be making self-driving cars? Why General Motors? They don't have a TCS. Why Ford? They don't have an Infosys. Tech Mahindra, autos, cars, scooters, and consulting company, and engineering company. L&T, one of the biggest engineering companies in the world, in India, has L&T Infotech. Who should be making these self-driving cars? India should be. All these are picking up in the US. And if you look at businesses and if you look at the material and what's happening, the biggest problem the Western world and US is facing is that nobody is dying. And one of the hardest things to do in US is how to die. I had lunch with a very famous doctor, and he said to me, Navneet, you will get sick and you'll come to the hospital, but we'll not let you die. So if there's some big business available, it's figuring out some homeopathy or some other kind of medicine that we can use to say goodbye to people. So the small business is very big in the US. This is one of the hidden gems. And the reason I share this is that this is what needs to happen in India. There's 28 small businesses, million small businesses in US. Guess what the number is in India? 55 million small businesses. And I have a little time left, so I want to talk to you about something important. Although Professor Tiwari, one speaker is missing, so I get 2-3 minutes of his time, right? We have all the speakers. Okay. All right. Okay, so I will take 1 minute extra to talk about, the topic is business opportunities in North America. So what I want to suggest to you is that the biggest opportunity in North America is to do something with India, right? Europe is, you heard the speaker earlier, Europe is dead or dying. I was in Greece at the Olympics in 2004. Population of Greece was 10.2 million. Estimated population in 2050, 9.4 million. The entire Western world, except for United States, the entire developed world cannot replenish its dead. And you cannot grow if your population is not growing. US figured this out long ago, that no matter what, whether of whatever religion they are, whatever country they are, whatever color they are, we need for population to grow in the United States. If the US population grows by 2%, the economy will grow. If the population doesn't grow, what are you growing? Who's buying what? So US figured this out long ago. And today, 100 years later, US is growing every year. Population growth, 8 million. I'll give you 2 shocking numbers. Every 8 seconds, a child is born in the United States. That number is 2 seconds in India. And here's a shocking statistic. Every 30 seconds, a person walks into United States with a new green card. Every 30 seconds the entire year. This is what US has figured out. Forget what Trump says. He doesn't know all these statistics. He will find out soon. Did you see his face the first day in the White House? Yeah, he got some statistics. So Europe is gone, done, and language problems. So forget Europe. US will always be there. China, there's 1.3 billion people that are going to compete with us if we want to go to China and make money. Why go there, right? So what's left is India. That's why I told you all the statistics about 25% down to 2.4%. And all of you agreed that you're going to help in climbing back up from 2.4% to 17% of the world GDP, to be fair, right? So the world GDP today is 80 billion, growing at 3% a year. In 24 years, the rule of 72, in 24 years, the world GDP will be 160 trillion. by 2040 in 20 years, 24 years. We want 17% of that 180 trillion, $23 trillion. Today, India's GDP is $3 trillion. $20 trillion of wealth will be created in India. Forget United States, forget Europe, forget China. No other country will see a $20 trillion growth in the next 24 years. We're wasting our time in this country. I came to US 34 years ago in 1981. India was growing at 1-2%. US was growing at 7-8. I said, let's run away where there's GDP growth, right? But now that we are here, and the 30 million Indians that are outside of India, their job is to get India to 23 trillion in 2040. We want our share. And I'm sure one of you will ask some question, and I'll share the rest of it with you shortly. Thank you so much. Thank you, Professor Chugh.